Well, I have two pieces in the show, and they're quite different from each other, but I suppose the thing that ties them together is that they are concerned with repetition and with different versions of the same thing. So one piece is 20 texts which are framed, and each of those texts is a rewriting of the previous one, and the changes are tracked a little bit like in track changes in a word processing document. And here they're tracked in colours, so new words that are added in the second one are in red, and in the third one in blue, and in the fourth one in green, and so on. So by the end of the 20, the document is pretty much alive with different colours. There's still a few traces of the original black text from the very first version that's there, and each of those texts is a description of a city, and the kind of thing that's changing a lot is in the description, the idea whether the city changes or not. So in the first text and in the third one and in the fifth one, the city is described as something that changes all the time, and never changes, sorry. The city is described as a place that never changes. And in the second and the fourth and the sixth and the eighth, it's described as a place where things are changing all the time. There's lots of different theories about why it's changing and why it's staying still. It's a little bit like two versions of me are fighting, in a way. The one that likes stillness and quiet and order, and one that likes chaos and noise and change and distraction. And that kind of battle's being fought out in those two different cities that are being described. So it's a text, but it's also a kind of performance in which I'm fighting with myself about how to describe this city, and you get to see all my decisions, all my changes, because they're tracked in different colours. The other piece is called, first one's called City Changes, and the second one's called Untitled (brackets After Violent Incident), and it's a video. It's kind of taken initially from a Bruce Nauman video, a many-screen installation piece, in which a couple do again and again a kind of slapstick routine at a dining room table, a restaurant table, kind of slapstick. And in the Nauman piece, he does many takes and he puts them on different monitors and he makes a kind of collage of all these different ones. And my work is a kind of reversioning of that. So it's just one monitor, and it's two performers who do the same routine again and again and again and again and again and again and again, continuously for an hour and maybe 10 minutes. No editing, and no chance to sort of say, okay, do that again, but a bit more like this. So what you're watching is them deteriorating massively, getting very knackered and very wet and very confused, because more than physical tiredness, what happens is their brains get a bit addled as they're doing it, and they start to forget who's supposed to do what now, and the thing kind of decays in a really interesting way. City Changes is a piece that kind of predates this exhibition. It was first shown in 2008. And the process for that was basically every day me deciding to write a new version of the text, and fighting with the version of me from the previous day and making changes to that. So it was kind of like a long-running debate with myself over 20 days about this city and how it sort of works. So quite a kind of private sort of mental process there. The video started actually in a conversation with Tom here at Arnolfini, when we were discussing, he was telling me about this idea for version control, and we were talking about repetition and about making new versions of existing works and so on. And we started talking about Bruce Nauman, because I've made quite a lot of neons. Bruce Nauman's made many neons. And we had an idea while we were talking about maybe trying to borrow a Bruce Nauman from the Tate and making a neon to sort of speak to it. A lot of kind of months went by, and that mutated to trying to make a sort of new mix or new version of this Bruce Nauman slapstick sequence. So it was a nice, long conversation with Tom and then with Axel here at Arnolfini about exactly how that work would materialise and how it would speak to the kind of concerns that the show has got.